Sean Yao. The Chinese Foreign Ministry remains open to infrastructure talks with the Philippines. In a statement, spokesperson Wang Wenbin said they will coordinate with the Marcos administration to move infrastructure projects forward. President Bongbong Marcos has ordered the Transportation Department to renegotiate loan deals with China for 3 railway projects. These 3 projects are supposedly deemed canceled after China failed to respond to the Philippines' loan request. In an interview with Radio 5, Transportation Undersecretary Cesar Chavez said he believes that the Marcos administration will pursue the stalled projects. The DOTR is set to meet with the Finance Department this week to discuss the matter.
Ang instruction ni Secretary Bautista ay ipursu ang pag-aaral at ang representation sa NEDA para sa mga proyektong ito sapagkat ang tingin ko tingin ko dito Manong Ted, ipursu pa rin yung proyekto sapagkat gumastos na ho tayo. Na-approve na ho nito.
And the Overseas Workers Welfare Association, or OWA, has set aside 15 million pesos to help the kids of OFWs. The agency says the fund is to help the children of migrant workers cope with the negative effects of not having their parents around. The program will initially be rolled out in Metro Manila, Ilocos, Calabarzon, Central Visayas, and the Davao region. Data from the Philippine Statistics Authority shows that there were over 1.7 million registered OFWs in 2020. We're gonna pause for a quick break, but we will be back with more stories after that. Stay with us here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Sean Yao. Agricultural groups want a price cap imposed on basic commodities as they get more expensive. Shyla Francisco with the story.
Presyo ng bigas! Ibaba! Ibaba! Price liberalization law! Ibasura!
Rice watch groups led a petition signing today at the Kamuning Market as they called to repeal the rice liberalization law. Protesters said that the law failed to bring down rice prices and even paved the way for the removal of the cheaper NFA rice as an option. Retailers at the Kamuning Market noted that suppliers even hiked prices by 50 pesos per sack, although this was not passed on to consumers.
Mahirap mo sabi pabababain. Eh ako nagtitinda, talagang tumaas na ho po kuha namin totoo lang. Baka sabi, mahirap po yan, dahil nga nagtatanim pa.
The increase in rice prices now adds to the burden of consumers who are now also dealing with the continuous price hike of sugar, egg, and meat. President Bongbong Marcos met with agriculture officials yesterday to discuss the looming food crisis. The instruction given to DA was to increase production and ensure affordable prices for consumers. Some of the plans being discussed include prioritizing farm-to-market roads and government-to-government negotiations to secure cheaper fertilizers. The president also said that the government should take advantage of the help offered by several countries. However, some agricultural groups said that farm-to-market roads and G2G talks won't address the immediate problems of the sector.
Kailangan na ng mamamayang Pilipino ay isasaing. Hindi maisasaing ang simento.
Sige, planting season, mag-G2G sila. Ibig sabihin, 2 buwan pa yan bago makakarating sa magsasaka. Immediate ang kailangan natin, no?
Groups are now calling for immediate input subsidies to lower production cost and commodities. For its part, Bantay Bigas wants the imposition of price cap on some products as well as declaring a state of calamity to impose price control measures.
Hirap na hirap ang ating mga mamamayang Pilipino. Mismo ang mga magsasaka ay gutom na. Yung simpleng ganito na yung nangyayari na malawakang kagutuman, calamity na ito eh. Isang pangitain na ito ay nasa calamity na tayo. So, i-declare na. Mag-declare na siya.
The DA is now looking into imposing SRP on some commodities such as egg and sugar. As for the price cap and declaration of state of calamity, the agency is leaving it up to the president to decide on the matter. Shyla Francisco, we are One News.
The US dollar breached parity with the euro for the first time in 2 decades. Nicole C. explains what this means, as well as the implications in this Bloomberg Quick Take.
Europe's common currency, the euro, has hit parity with the US dollar. What's happening? What does this mean? Is the euro going through an
existential crisis?
How did this happen? Well, a couple factors, but mainly a combination of 1, Russia's war in Ukraine, and 2, the European Central Bank or the ECB's sluggishness in raising interest rates on the back of rising inflation.
Inflation resulted.
It's the first time the currency has sunk to that level in 20 years. Around that time, it was just a little baby fledgling currency. But what does that mean if the ratio hits 1-to-1 or even lower? Who wins and who loses? It depends on who you're asking. It's good for European exporters because their products become cheaper relative to US-made goods. And the same for Americans traveling to Europe. It's like the euro is on sale. On the flip side, a weaker euro makes imports like oil and gas more expensive.
First, we have to pay for higher oil and gas. External accounts go into deficit. But after a while, our exports increase, and then also we get more jobs.
Some policymakers have also highlighted a weaker euro as a risk to the ECB's goal to return inflation to 2% over the medium term. Generally, that's what economists consider the sweet spot for inflation.
My colleagues and I are acutely focused on returning inflation to our 2% objective.
So if the ECB just starts hiking rates by a lot, the borrowing costs of the more indebted countries risk spiraling out of control if investors begin to question their ability to sustain debt loads. Now, is there anything that can be done to turn this around? Remember when I said earlier, the European Central Bank or the ECB's sluggishness in raising interest rates on the back of rising inflation? Couldn't the ECB just start hiking rates to prevent too much pain for Europeans? I mean, that's the plan. But raising rates is harder for the ECB than other central banks because different countries in the Eurozone have different levels of debt. But how low can the euro go? Here's what some analysts are saying.
And under the scenario of a complete gas cut-off, I really wouldn't say 95 would be unreasonable.
Euro could fall to 80 US cents according to Deutsche Bank.
Obviously, the difficulty of managing a monetary union with a wide range of economies emerged during these times. But if history is any guide, the euro will survive as it has done so in the past. It's just a matter of how much that will cost Europeans.
Together we are stronger.
That's the hot take. Thanks for watching.
Let's now take a quick look at today's other top stories. President Bongbong Marcos presided over his third cabinet meeting this morning. Among the department heads that presented reports are DepEd Secretary Sara Duterte and Social Welfare Chief Erwin Tulfo. President Marcos has also decided to retain the COVID-19 alert level system for now. However, the Marcos administration is planning to reclassify restrictions into categories that take into account the milder strains of COVID-19. The LTFRB has vowed to settle its unpaid dues with drivers and operators of the EDSA bus carousel. LTFRB Chairperson Cheloy Garafil said they are fast-tracking the payments after noting backlogs from the previous administration. For more updates, visit News 5, The Philippine Star, and Business World online. Visit our website, onenews.ph, for more in-depth analysis. You can also catch One News on Signal Play. Register for a free account at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. Masks on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. I am Sean Yao. We are One News.